was gonna lie to you, but I had to tell the truth. I'm just being honest.
Legendary rapper and producer RZA reveals that Wu-Tang was banned from radio play in the day, and it all makes sense now, as I've never really heard Wu-Tang being played on the radio.
Like, what happens to Wu-Tang if you don't get banned from Hot 97?
If we didn't get banned from Hot 97 and their sister stations, and even a few other stations that follow their trend, it's almost like, I think Wu-Tang forever, you know, could have been Diamond.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I think like, and other albums that came. I mean, we continue with albums. I mean, you figured after that, Capadonna comes, right? And he gets a gold album, but
that's with no support, like no.
Exactly. I mean,
and that was at
Bobby
a time,
Digital, no support.
And that was at a time when pop rate Z100s of the world weren't playing hip hop like that. You know, we're still a few years away from that happening. So all of a sudden, there's no outlet.
Raekwon's second album, RZA album, Ghostface, Supreme Clientele. Supreme Clientele got minuscule play, and you know, Hot 97 apologized to me like 2 years ago.
Wow, that's crazy. 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2023.
When we did the Madison Square Garden thing with them. And Funk Flex, you know, sat down with me and apologized, you know what I mean? But that was a kick in the nuts. And in hindsight now, it was a kick in the nuts to the culture.
Well, I wonder what you think about, because we're talking 97, so what you're right on the cusp of, obviously. 97 is a huge year, you know, Biggie's second album, we lose Biggie, Pac is just gone.
Yeah.
But what we're really on the cusp of in the late 90s is the beginning of the real rise of the South. And obviously you get into the early to mid 2000s, you have 50, you have 50 and Ja. It's not that New York is gone, but it's not the same.
Exactly.
The energy is different, and all of the kind of like cultural power has reorganized around Cash Money, No Limit, Texas, Florida, Atlanta. And I wonder, do you think that Wu-Tang and Wu-Tang sort of all the tributaries being minimized in a way left space?
It left a lot of space. First of all, it's hats off to them, because their destiny is their destiny, right? But if you go back and look at the Wu-Tang empire, right, with the Wu-Tang Clan and all the solo members having success, Sons of Man, Kill Army, all these different, this hip hop of New York, right? All, you know, having a potential to continue the rawness of hip hop, the Grave Diggers, all these different chambers having a chance get stopped. And then another wave come in, and they come in to New York. You know, they come into New York radio, they come into, and one degree is great because the South culture gets a chance to rise, and those families, you know, get a chance, you know.
Bang, bang.
Straight from
bang,
the desk of
bang,
RZA himself, revealing something that I felt but I didn't know. And now I know. Wu-Tang was banned from radio, but they never really needed it, like I said in the beginning of the video. Hot 97 apologized to Wu-Tang, right? Yeah. And I understand that. But Wu-Tang still is one of the greatest groups of all time. They went on to sell millions of records. They got their money. They got their credibility. They got everything that they would have gotten, even with radio play. So trust that. But who misses out on it all is the culture. And that's what RZA was talking about. Our culture, hip-hop culture, black culture. Needed to hear Wu-Tang. Not only Wu-Tang, but some of the things I heard as a kid, I really didn't need to hear, right? Y'all get what I'm saying. Wu-Tang was thought-provoking and positive and had a message. And it was just as an MC, the wordplay alone just had me gone. Like you play Wu-Tang, you gotta have your dictionary right there. And keep in mind, I'm a kid, right? And I'm making good grades in school, but school is not challenging me like Wu-Tang's music challenged to try to understand it. And I'm from the South. So it gave me an entirely different perspective as I got the music. And many kids in the South never really heard Wu-Tang like that. But I had friends that I met in 6th, 7th grade that put me on a lot of different music. And I read Source magazine, Double XL, and I knew all about New York like I was from New York. Queens with Nas, like I said, Biggie, Brooklyn, Jay-Z, all of that. I just knew all about it. Cameron from Harlem, I knew all about it. And New York was so diverse. And then like the radio changed. But Wu-Tang was different from everybody. And that should have been heard. And going back even more with what he said, the member of Wu-Tang that I think I've ever heard, the most I've ever heard on the radio, was ODB. Hey, dirty, baby, I got your money. And think about this. ODB, rest in peace to the legend. But of everybody out of Wu-Tang, his message is the most wow, right? The craziest one. He was smart, he was deep, he pushed the right agenda right along with Wu-Tang, but everybody, all the members, everybody know Dirt McGirt was the wildest one, which may have fit the bigger agenda that was being pushed at the time. And you align this with what RZA said, and then you align this with the hip hop meeting about, okay, we're gonna push this agenda on the youth. We don't want any more positivity. And it seems that Wu-Tang was the entire opposite of what was being pushed at the time and this time. And the mindset of people is entirely different than your average Wu-Tang fan who understands a lot about what's going on, because the way they rap is just open your mind to want to investigate, explore the world, and figure things out from a different perspective, from a different lens. And you knew these brothers were smart as could be, and they still are. And the following is a strong cult following because of what they did and what they represented. And like I said, nobody got cheated more than the kids, the culture, and our people. As we need to hear that, there's nothing wrong with what really came out. And I love the South music, as I'm from the South. I always tell y'all, right? So that's in my blood. But a lot of us, most of us need to hear what Wu-Tang was talking about. And hearing this also makes me think of my time as an artist. And when I came out, I was trying to make these songs and everybody's trying to be successful, and radio's the way. Radio was the way. You gotta have a radio hit. You gotta have a radio hit. In order to make it out of Memphis or the South especially, you gotta have a radio hit. And I was never a fan of radio music or radio artists. I grew up on real MCs and being talented and being creative and being dope. So I should have never changed my mindset from that, as we see how corrupted radio really is and what agenda they've always wanted to push anyway. And you can see the current state of the youth and the mentality and what they've been pumping and on radio for the last 20, 30 years. The final result is very ugly. And I'm telling you, if you will pump, add some Wu-Tang in there with it, or artists like Wu-Tang, or play artists like a Big Crit today, or just, not just Kendrick, not just Cole, the whole horizon of dope artists with something to say. And I'm not just saying just play them, but I'm saying play them as well. Play them as well, right? Give a little vegetables with that plate. You got all the meat, you got your macaroni, let's put some broccoli on, right? A little bit of it, because at this point, the whole culture has been shortened of broccoli, of vegetables, of nutrients that they need, right? But anyway, that was just my thought.